In medieval Europe, the start of a new year was not something to be taken lightly. It was a time for hope, reflection, and perhaps a hint of superstition. And in some regions, an enchanting tradition emerged that would predict the fortunes of loved ones, the Wasserziehen ritual. The Feast of Fools was a time for behaving in ways that would make local priests nervous. In the midst of celebrations and merriment, people would gather around wells, drawing water in the hopes that it would reveal something about their future. The Wasserziehen ritual, as it came to be known, was an intriguing blend of hope and superstition. This tradition offered a chance to peer into the unknown, to know what the new year might hold. New Year's Day was not standardized across medieval Europe. Different regions celebrated at different times of the year. But for many, this ritual became a cherished part of their New Year's Eve celebrations. It was more than just a superstitious act. It was a way to bring families together and share in the hope of what the new year might bring. The Wasserziehen ritual, in its own unique way, brought a sense of connection and anticipation to the start of each new year. Before we begin, a small request. Most of the people listening tonight aren't subscribed. If this channel has ever helped you drift off, take a moment to subscribe. It's free, it helps this channel more than you'd think, and you can always change your mind later. And if you feel like it, leave a comment telling me where in the world you're listening from and what time it is where you are. I love reading them. One more thing before we begin. I'm also a co-founder of a sleep app, built to be the most affordable one out there. No ads, ever. Just sounds and stories made to help you sleep. It may not be released yet as this video goes up, but if you're watching a little later, it might be out by now. Just search for it. It should be easy to find. It works on iPhone, Android, and everything in between. Downloading it is the best way to support this channel. As the medieval New Year's Eve feast drew to a close, amidst the lingering echoes of laughter and clinking glasses, another tradition was just beginning to unfold: Wasserziehen. The origins of this enchanting ritual can be traced back to an ancient European practice known as the Feast of Fools. Imagine a world where for one day the ordinary rules did not apply. During the Feast of Fools, medieval Europeans indulged in wild antics and playful mischief that would have been strictly forbidden at any other time. The Feast of Fools was more than just a day of revelry, it held a deeper significance. For many, it symbolized the transition from one year to the next, offering a chance to let go of past mistakes and embrace new beginnings. This tradition of renewal and hope eventually merged with another ancient custom, Wasserziehen, or water drawing. The Wasserziehen ritual involved drawing water from wells, with the first person to fetch a bucketful believed to bring good luck for the coming year. This act of communal hope and anticipation was more than just a superstition. It was a way of connecting with one another and looking forward to the future. Throughout the medieval era, families would gather around wells, eagerly awaiting their turn to draw water. The atmosphere was filled with laughter and joyous energy as everyone hoped for a lucky start to the new year. The origins of Wasserziehen reveal a fascinating blend of ancient European traditions and medieval customs, offering a glimpse into how these enchanting rituals brought hope and connection among families during New Year's Eve celebrations. As the last bucket of water is drawn, the sense of anticipation builds, culminating in a moment that bridges the past and the future, a symbolic promise of renewal and good fortune for all. In this way, Wasserziehen became not just a New Year's Eve tradition, but a cherished ritual that united families and communities across medieval Europe. It was not uncommon in medieval times to believe in a strong connection between one's actions and the divine plan for their lives. This idea of fate and divine intervention permeated various aspects of life, including celebrations like New Year's Eve. Medieval people saw the turn of the year as a time when the veil between the divine and human worlds thinned, allowing for prophecies and signs to emerge more clearly. This belief in fate and divine intervention was not merely superstition. It was a deeply held conviction that guided many of their traditions and rituals. The belief was that the quality and clarity of this water could predict the fortune and health of the family for the coming year. This ritual was not just a superstition, it held profound significance because it was believed to be guided by divine intervention. In medieval New Year's Eve feasts, chaos and misbehavior were not only tolerated, but encouraged. Among the many rituals that took place during these celebrations was a peculiar one called Wasserziehen. As the old year came to an end, families would gather around a well or a body of water. The ritual steps began with drawing water from this source. The first person to draw water was often the youngest family member. This action was believed to hold great significance, as it was thought that the order in which people drew water could reveal their fate for the coming year. Each family member would then take turns drawing from the well or stream. The water drawn was often carefully inspected, as it was believed that the clarity and temperature of the water could offer insights into the future. Cold, clear water was seen as a positive omen, suggesting that the individual would have a year filled with good health and fortune. Muddy or warm water, however, was considered a bad sign. The interpretations of the drawn water were often quite literal. If someone drew warm water, it might foretell a feverish year ahead. Clear water, on the other hand, promised a clear path through life's challenges. After the water drawn, families would gather to discuss the meanings behind each person's portion of water. These conversations could often lead to joyous celebrations or moments of reflection and preparation. The ritual served as a powerful bonding experience, connecting family members through shared hopes and fears for the coming year. As the night wore on, the chaos and misbehavior that characterized these medieval New Year's Eve feasts would continue, but the Wasserziehen ritual provided a moment of connection and hope among all the revelry. Whether the water was clear or muddy, the ritual offered families a chance to look ahead together and face whatever might come with unity and resolve. March 25th, a date of significant religious importance in medieval Europe, was often chosen as the day to celebrate the New Year's Eve. This ritual marked not just the beginning of another year, but also an opportunity for families to come together and look towards the future with hope and connection. In medieval Venice, one such tradition was the Wasserziehen, or water drawing ceremony. This ritual involved families gathering around a well to draw water and predict what the coming year might hold for them. The ritual was simple, yet profound. A family member would lower a cup into the well, and everyone would hold their breath as it was pulled back up. If the water was clear, it was seen as a sign of good fortune ahead. The emotional significance of Wasserziehen ran deep. It was not just about divining the future, but also about strengthening familial bonds. By participating in this collective act, family members felt a sense of hope and connection. They were not alone in facing whatever the new year might bring. They had each other's support. Through this simple ritual, medieval families found a way to navigate the uncertainties of life together, turning potential anxieties into opportunities for solidarity and strength. And so, as another New Year's Day dawned in medieval Europe, families would gather around wells, cups in hand, ready to face the future with hope and connection. The Wasserziehen ritual beautifully encapsulated how medieval families sought to predict their fortunes while fostering a sense of unity and resolve. This change reflected a broader evolution in how New Year's Day was observed across medieval Europe, influenced by both religious and societal shifts. One enduring tradition that has left its mark on these celebrations is the Wasserziehen ritual. During the medieval era, families would gather around a well to draw water using a bucket attached to a rope. The first person to reach the bucket of water was believed to be blessed with good fortune for the coming year, bringing hope and unity among families. This tradition, though seemingly simple, held deep symbolic significance. It predicted future fortunes and fostered a sense of connection during the New Year's Eve celebrations. The Legacy of Wasserziehen extends beyond its historical context, reflecting on the enduring importance of such rituals in modern times. Even today, the idea of drawing water to bring good luck continues to resonate, embodying a timeless relevance that transcends centuries. In the Middle Ages, New Year's Eve was not just a night of celebration, but also a time for fortune prediction. Families would gather around wells and draw water, believing that it held secrets about the year to come. This ritual, known as Wasserziehen or water drawing, was a crucial part of New Year's Eve festivities in many regions. People would gather around wells and draw water at specific times, often coinciding with significant religious holidays like the Feast of the Annunciation. The water drawing was believed to carry messages from the divine about the fortunes and health of those who would drink it in the coming year. Each family member would take turns drawing water with great care and intention. The order of drawing was also important, as it could indicate the hierarchy or fortune within the household. The interpreting of the water's meaning was an intricate process. The color, clarity, and even the sound made when the bucket hit the water were all considered significant. Clear water was seen as a sign of good health and prosperity for the coming year, while cloudy or murky water could foretell difficulties. The sound made by the bucket as it hit the water was also important. A loud splash was thought to bring good luck, while a soft or muted sound might indicate challenges ahead. Some families even had special rituals for interpreting these signs. The Wasserziehen ritual offered more than just predictions about the future. It also fostered a sense of community and connection among families. It was imbued with profound symbolism, representing a connection to fate itself. The drawing of water symbolized not only the passage into a new year, but also a connection to the divine forces that shaped one's fate. Each dipperful held possibilities and portents for the coming months. For medieval people, the new year was a time of reflection and hope, when the boundaries between the mundane and the mystical seemed thinner. The Wasserziehen ritual served as a bridge between these realms. Each family member would carefully draw water from the well, the action infused with anticipation and significance. This wasn't just about quenching thirst, it was about reading signs from the divine. The clarity or murkiness of the water could be interpreted as omens, reflecting the state of one's fate for the coming year. A crystal-clear dipperful might foretell smooth sailing, while cloudy water could signal challenges ahead. This symbolic act brought families together in a shared experience, fostering a sense of unity and communal strength as they faced the uncertainties of the new year. In medieval times, New Year's celebrations were not always on January 1st. They often revolved around significant events and milestones that held deeper cultural meaning. One such event was the Wasserziehen ritual, a symbolic act centered around drawing water from wells. These wells were not just sources of life-giving liquid, but also vital community hubs where families gathered. Wells held a practical importance in medieval communities, serving as the primary source of fresh water for daily use. They were often communal spaces, used by multiple families within a village or town. But wells also played a deeper cultural role. They became focal points for traditions like the Wasserziehen ritual, which was performed during New Year's Eve celebrations. In this ritual, the youngest unmarried girl in a household would draw water from the well. The order of drawing water was believed to predict the coming year's fortune. Wells were not only practical resources, but also spiritual and social anchors. They served as meeting places where families could come together in a shared experience of hope and unity. As the Julian calendar shifted the new year to January 1st, wells continued to be central to these traditions, embodying a sense of continuity amid change. The ritual's persistence underscored the enduring importance of wells in medieval life. They were more than just sources of water. They were symbols of community and hope. This annual tradition highlighted how wells were integral to medieval society, providing not just water, but also a sense of unity and shared future. One unique tradition that emerged in medieval times was the Wasserziehen ritual. Over the centuries, as Christianity spread across Europe, many regional traditions merged with religious practices. The Wasserziehen ritual was one such tradition that evolved to incorporate Christian elements, further strengthening its significance. As the medieval period progressed, this ritual became a deeply rooted custom, transcending regional boundaries. Today, while many New Year's traditions have faded or changed, the Wasserziehen ritual continues to be practiced in some parts of Europe. This enduring tradition illustrates how New Year celebrations have evolved over time, adapting to cultural and religious changes. The Wasserziehen ceremony involved drawing water from a well or stream, believed to possess magical properties. Families would gather around the source of this enchanted liquid, each member taking turns to dip a vessel into the water and then drawing back out. The first person to retrieve water without spilling it was considered blessed with good luck for the coming year. As the Wasserziehen unfolded, each member of the family took their turn to test their fate. The first to succeed was not just lucky, but also granted a special status within the community. This person would be seen as a harbinger of good tidings for the entire household. Though the exact origin of this tradition remains shrouded in time, its enduring popularity suggests it served a deep-rooted need for hope and unity among medieval families. It was more than just a New Year's custom, it was a ritual that bound communities together. As the night of Twelfth Night progressed, the sense of anticipation and shared fate grew stronger. The Wasserziehen ceremony was not merely a game, but a profound act of collective faith in a brighter future. This tradition, woven into the fabric of medieval New Year's celebrations, reminds us of the power of ritual and shared belief in shaping our hopes and connections. It is a testament to how simple acts can carry immense significance and bring families closer during times of transition. As the first light of dawn broke on January 6, marking Epiphany, the magic of Twelfth Night lingered in the air, carrying with it the promise of good fortune and unity. The Wasserziehen ceremony stands as a poignant example of how medieval Europeans celebrated the New Year, infusing their traditions with both hope and togetherness. As we continue to explore these rich historical practices, it becomes clear that our modern celebrations are but a continuation of the human quest for meaning and connection during the turning points of life. As we delve deeper into the rich tapestry of medieval rituals, it's fascinating to see how certain practices have stood the test of time and continue to influence our modern celebrations. One such tradition is Wasserziehen, a captivating ritual that was particularly significant during New Year's Eve celebrations in medieval Europe. In the spirit of divination and hope, families would gather around a water source to perform this intriguing ritual. This practice was not just about the act of drawing water, but also about the shared anticipation and connection it brought among families. Celebrating Twelfth Night with feasting and merriment was a significant part of medieval New Year's rituals, often lasting until Epiphany on January 6. The spirit of Wasserziehen continues to influence modern traditions in subtle yet profound ways. While the specifics may have evolved, the essence of hope and connection remains a core element in how we mark the turning points of life. Reflecting on the enduring impact of Wasserziehen, it becomes clear that its spirit lives on in our modern celebrations, bringing hope and connection among families during these special moments. In medieval Europe, wells were more than just sources of water. They were imbued with sacred qualities and divine associations. Wells were often dedicated to specific saints or deities, reflecting the deep spiritual significance attached to them. In some regions, drawing water from a well was seen as a ritual that could predict the future, much like how modern-day diviners might read tea leaves. The act of drawing water was believed to be a form of communication with the divine, where the amount or quality of water drawn could foretell good fortune or misfortune. The belief was that if the bucket drew clean and abundant water, it signified a year of prosperity and health. But if the water was murky or insufficient, it could be a sign of hardships to come. These rituals were not just about practical needs. They were deeply rooted in the spiritual and communal life of medieval communities. Well worship was a tangible way to connect with the divine, bringing hope and connection among families during these sacred moments. In medieval Europe, water held immense symbolic power during New Year's Eve celebrations, particularly in the ritual of Wasserziehen. This ceremony involved families drawing water from a well or stream and bringing it into their homes to be blessed. At its core, this act was more than just a simple task. It represented hope, connection, and divine grace. Water symbolism in medieval literature and art often revolved around themes of life, purity, and spiritual renewal. In many texts, water was depicted as a source of divine grace, reflecting the belief that it could cleanse and purify both body and soul. One notable example is found in the Middle English poem Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. In this work, water plays a crucial role as a symbol of purity and renewal. Throughout the poem, the protagonist Sir Gawain undergoes a series of trials that test his chivalry and honor. Water is repeatedly used as a metaphor for these qualities, with its ability to wash away impurities signifying spiritual growth. In medieval art, water was also a prominent symbol of life and rebirth. Many paintings and illuminated manuscripts featured scenes of baptisms or other ritualistic washings. These images underscored the belief that water had the power to cleanse and revitalize, both physically and spiritually. The act of drawing water during New Year's Eve ceremonies was thus imbued with a deeper cultural significance. It was not merely about fetching water. It was about bringing the purifying and renewing power of divine grace into one's home. This ritual offered families a tangible way to start the new year with hope and connection, believing that the blessed water would bring good fortune and spiritual cleansing. By participating in this ritual, medieval families felt a profound sense of unity with the divine and with each other, creating a sacred moment that transcended the ordinary. The drawing of water, though seemingly mundane, carried with it the weight of centuries-old belief and tradition. It served as a reminder that even the simplest actions can hold profound meaning when infused with faith and symbolism. And so, as the year turned, the act of drawing water brought hope, connection, and a sense of divine blessing to medieval families. As the year turned, the medieval world also looked to the heavens for insight into the future. Astrology, derived from ancient Greek and Arabic learning, was a powerful tool used by clerics and scholars alike. The practice of creating horoscopes, based on the alignment of planets and stars at one's birth, offered predictions about life events and character traits. In monasteries and cathedrals across Europe, astrology was used to forecast significant religious occasions and even the future of nations. For instance, the birth of a king might be scrutinized through an astrological chart, with the alignment of planets interpreted as signs of greatness or cautionary warnings. The belief in astrology was so profound that some medieval kings consulted astrologers before making critical decisions, seeking guidance on everything from political alliances to military campaigns. Beyond royal courts, everyday people also sought the advice of local wise men or women who could interpret celestial events. These advisors might use astrology alongside other divinatory practices, such as reading tea leaves or examining the entrails of animals. Within this rich tapestry of beliefs, Wasserziehen stood out as a uniquely personal and communal ritual that brought families together during New Year's Eve celebrations. While astrology offered glimpses into broader cosmic influences, Wasserziehen provided a tangible connection to the divine and hope for the coming year. In medieval Europe, water was not just a necessity for life. It held profound significance in health beliefs and rituals. Many believed that water possessed healing properties and could be used to ward off illnesses and misfortune. Rituals like Wasserziehen were thought to harness the power of water for divination, offering insights into future health and prosperity. Medieval healers often prescribed specific water-based remedies to treat ailments. For example, water from holy wells was believed to have curative powers. The belief in the healing properties of water extended to using it in rituals for purification and protection against evil spirits. In some regions, people would make offerings to local deities or saints, seeking blessings and protection through holy water. This tradition was deeply rooted in the belief that water could reveal hidden knowledge about one's fate and well-being. In addition to these rituals, water was also used in more mundane ways. For instance, bathing in cold water was believed to strengthen one's health and resistance to disease. The Wasserziehen ritual fit into a broader spectrum of medieval health beliefs that involve seeking divine favor and protection through rituals involving water. Beyond the well-known Wasserziehen ritual, medieval Europeans employed several other divination methods to predict their future. Lead pouring, or molybdenmancy, was one such practice. Heated lead was poured into a container of water, and the resulting shapes were interpreted as omens. The belief was that divine forces influenced the lead's solidification. Candle gazing, or lichnomancy, was another common method of divination. Medieval people would stare into the flickering flame of a candle and seek answers in its dance. The movements and patterns of the flame were thought to reveal secrets from the other world. Palmistry, or chiromancy, was another popular divination method. Practitioners would study the lines and patterns on a person's palm to foretell their future. Each line and crease was believed to hold a unique significance that could reveal one's destiny. These various divination methods offered medieval Europeans a sense of control and connection during uncertain times. Wasserziehen, with its focus on water and divine intervention, fits seamlessly into this broader belief system. As families gathered to practice these rituals during New Year's Eve celebrations, they were united by a shared hope for the future. In medieval Europe, calendrical traditions were intricately woven into the fabric of life. From Easter to harvest festivals, these rituals marked significant moments in the cycle of time. But there was one particular ritual that stood out for its profound connection to the future and hope: Wasserziehen. The belief was that this encounter would reveal insights into the young woman's fate. This ritual, along with others like Easter customs and harvest festivals, shaped how medieval people understood time and their place within it. These calendrical traditions were more than just celebrations. They offered a sense of connection and hope amidst the uncertainties of life. And that was the beauty of Wasserziehen and other medieval calendrical traditions. They brought families together in a shared journey through time. While the Wasserziehen ritual brought families together during medieval New Year's Eve celebrations, its divinatory nature was not without controversy. The clergy played a significant role in shaping the perception and practice of this tradition. The medieval church often viewed divination with suspicion, seeing it as an attempt to circumvent God's will or even dabble in forbidden knowledge. However, some clergy members saw potential in Wasserziehen and other similar practices as a means to connect with the divine and interpret God's plan. These supportive voices within the church might have adapted the practice to align more closely with Christian beliefs, emphasizing prayer and faith over superstition. For example, in some regions, Wasserziehen was performed during religious holidays such as the Feast of the Annunciation, lending it a layer of spiritual significance that aligned with church teachings. But clerical opposition could be fierce, particularly in areas where superstition was seen as a threat to Christian doctrine. Critics might have warned against relying on Wasserziehen for guidance, arguing that true spiritual insight comes from devotion and scripture rather than mere fortune-telling. Despite this, the common people found solace in Wasserziehen, seeing it as a way to connect with divine wisdom and navigate their future with hope. This interplay between clerical influence and popular belief shaped the enduring legacy of Wasserziehen, showing how a simple ritual could weave together faith, family, and the divine. This diversity is exemplified by the Wasserziehen ritual, a unique blend of faith and family traditions. Germany was renowned for its elaborate Wasserziehen celebrations, where families would gather around a well or fountain. This belief in predicting the future was deeply rooted in German folk traditions and added a layer of hope to their celebrations. France, meanwhile, had its own unique twist on Wasserziehen. In French communities, the ritual often involved a shared cup or goblet passed among family members. The first person to take a sip was considered especially blessed, with the belief that they would bring good fortune for the entire household. This communal aspect highlighted the importance of unity and familial bonds in French New Year's celebrations. In England, Wasserziehen rituals took on a more personal and introspective tone. Individuals would often spend the night before New Year's Eve in quiet reflection and prayer. The first hours of the new year were dedicated to drawing water, which symbolized purification and renewal. This individual ritual underscored the deep spiritual significance placed on the new year in English traditions. Across these regions, Wasserziehen adapted to reflect local customs and beliefs, yet it remained a powerful unifier. The ritual's diversity showcased its broad appeal and adaptability within medieval European cultures. In medieval Europe, the bonds of family were paramount, forming the very fabric of societal structure. The concept of families extended beyond blood relations to include servants and dependents who lived under the same roof. This collective identity was vital for both survival and community cohesion in an era where resources were scarce and life could be harsh. The New Year's Eve celebrations, with their rich tapestry of rituals, played a crucial role in reinforcing these familial ties. Among the most significant of these rituals was Wasserziehen, or water pulling, which took place on the eve of January 1st. This ancient tradition involved families gathering around a large log, known as a Yule Log, and drawing water from a well or stream. The belief was that the first person to draw water in the new year would have good fortune bestowed upon them. The ritual itself was simple, yet profoundly symbolic. It served not only as a means of divining personal fortunes, but also as a powerful unifier, drawing families together in a collective act that transcended individual concerns. In a world where the future often seemed uncertain and harsh, Wasserziehen offered a beacon of hope and connection. It was an opportunity for families to come together, share their aspirations, and celebrate the prospect of a brighter year ahead. The gathering around the Yule log, the shared anticipation as water was drawn from the well or stream, all created an atmosphere of unity and solidarity that fortified familial bonds. For children especially, this ritual held a special magic. The idea that their family's fortune could be influenced by such a simple act was both exciting and reassuring. As the water was drawn, the eldest or most respected member of the family would often share stories and wisdom, passing on traditions and values that had been handed down through generations. This combination of shared experience and intergenerational knowledge made Wasserziehen more than just a superstitious practice. It was a sacred rite that preserved the family's collective memory and hope for the future. In the stratified society of medieval Europe, Wasserziehen transcended class divisions, bringing families together regardless of their status. This prediction was seen as a vital connection to divine guidance and an indication of what the coming year might hold. The ritual was practiced with great reverence, ensuring that all members of the family had a chance to participate in this sacred rite. The social hierarchies of medieval times were rigid, but rituals like Wasserziehen offered a rare moment of unity and hope for the future. By sharing in this collective experience, families across different social classes could feel connected to something greater than themselves. This collective hope transcended the daily challenges and divisions of medieval life, fostering a sense of community and solidarity. The ritual also preserved intergenerational knowledge, as elders would pass on stories of past predictions and their meanings to younger family members. This tradition ensured that the family's collective memory was preserved and hope for the future was passed down through generations. In a time of limited education and high mortality rates, Rituals like Wasserziehen were crucial in maintaining familial bonds and providing a sense of continuity. For families living under the harsh realities of medieval life, the hope that Wasserziehen offered was invaluable. The collective hope for a better future was palpable, transcending social hierarchies and bringing people together in a shared moment of unity. Medieval superstitions about water were deeply ingrained in European culture, where wells and streams held sacred significance. The clear, life-giving liquid was seen as a conduit to the divine, capable of revealing hidden truths and fortunes. The practice of divination through water was not unique to New Year's Eve celebrations. It was a common ritual throughout the year, especially among those seeking guidance and foresight. Wells, in particular, were believed to possess special properties that could amplify these mystical readings. The depth and darkness of wells were thought to draw closer the spirits and forces that governed fate and destiny. Diviners often used intricate patterns etched into the water's surface or the shapes formed by the poured liquid to interpret their visions. These readings were seen as direct messages from the divine, guiding individuals through life's uncertainties and challenges. The Wasserziehen ritual built upon these beliefs, integrating them into a communal practice that brought families together in shared anticipation. As the first person drew water from the well, they would carefully pour it onto a flat surface, observing the patterns and forms created by the liquid. Each pattern was studied intently, with family members interpreting its meaning based on ancient lore and tradition. A clear, smooth flow might indicate a year of prosperity, while erratic or broken lines could foretell hardship and strife. The Wasserziehen ritual served as more than just a form of entertainment. It was a deeply meaningful spiritual practice that offered comfort and guidance during trying times. Illuminating the depth of belief and cultural significance surrounding the Wasserziehen ritual emphasizes its role in predicting the future, bringing hope to medieval families as they welcome the new year. In the heart of medieval Bavaria, the Wasserziehen ritual was deeply interwoven with local folklore. According to tradition, the first person to draw water from this source on New Year's Day would be blessed with good fortune for the coming year. Moving north to the rugged landscapes of medieval Scotland, the Wasserziehen ritual took on a different form, reflecting the unique customs and beliefs of its inhabitants. Here, the focus was not solely on drawing water, but also on interpreting the signs present in the natural world around them. This intricate blend of observation and interpretation was seen as a way to align oneself with the rhythms of nature and secure blessings for the future. In the sun-kissed regions of medieval Italy, the Wasserziehen ritual was often performed with great ceremony and pomp. Families would gather around ancient fountains or springs, adorned with garlands and ribbons to symbolize renewal and hope. The first person to draw water from these sacred sources was believed to set the tone for the entire family's fortunes in the coming year. The atmosphere at these gatherings was one of joy and celebration, with families exchanging well wishes and sharing a communal meal to mark the auspicious occasion. This blend of tradition and festivity underscored the profound cultural significance of the Wasserziehen ritual in Italian society. In medieval France, the Wasserziehen ritual was often linked to religious practices and beliefs. This fusion of spirituality and tradition emphasized the deep-rooted faith in the protective power of such rituals. Throughout these varied practices, what remains constant is the shared belief that the actions taken on New Year's Day could influence one's fate for the entire year. Whether it was drawing water from a sacred source or interpreting natural signs, these rituals offered medieval families hope and connection in the face of uncertainty. Throughout medieval times, wells held profound spiritual significance. Beyond their practical use, they were venerated as sacred sites connected to various divine figures. In the medieval world, wells were often seen as gateways to the divine. They were places where one could seek blessings and guidance for the coming year. Some wells gained fame due to their reputed healing properties or connections to significant historical events. In medieval England, for example, The Chalice Well in Glastonbury was celebrated as a holy site associated with Joseph of Arimathea and his connection to Christ. Such wells were often visited on special occasions, particularly during New Year's celebrations. People believed that drawing water from these sacred sources could bring blessings and good fortune for the year ahead. The spiritual weight behind this practice provided hope and connection among families as they faced uncertainty about the future. This ancient ritual of well worship underscores how medieval societies sought divine guidance and blessings to navigate their lives. The significance of these wells extended beyond their spiritual attributes, embodying a deeper communal belief in the power of sacred sites. As the medieval year turned, families drew water from these venerated sources, believing it would bring hope and connection for the coming year. In medieval Europe, the significance of water extended far beyond its practical uses. It held deep symbolic meaning in literature and art. For instance, Geoffrey Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales uses water as a recurring motif to signify purification and renewal. In the Tale of the Pardoner, the character seeks a holy relic that will ensure his eternal salvation and uses water to represent this divine grace. The medieval artist, Pietro Lorenzetti, also employed water symbolism in his famous painting, The Annunciations. In the work, a bowl of lilies submerged in water represents Mary's purity and the life-giving powers of water. These artistic depictions illustrate how deeply rooted the symbolism of water was in medieval culture and thought. This tradition of Wasserziehen not only predicted a better future but also strengthened bonds among families and communities. As families gathered around the Yule Log, the tradition of predicting the future was deeply ingrained in medieval culture. This was the realm of divination practices, methods used to gain insight into what was yet to come. One of these practices was astrology, which held significant sway over medieval minds. The alignment of the stars and planets was believed to influence not just the weather, but also the fate of individuals and entire communities. The idea that celestial bodies could shape earthly events was not new. It had roots in ancient Greek and Roman beliefs. In medieval Europe, astrologers were consulted for their expertise in charting the skies. These charts were used to predict everything from crop harvests to the birth of royal heirs. The stars and planets were seen as a vast cosmic clockwork, each movement carrying significance. But astrology was not the only method of divination in use. Scrying, the practice of gazing into a reflective surface such as water or a mirror, was also common. Medieval people believed that by focusing their gaze and clearing their minds, they could see visions of the future in these reflective surfaces. Geomancy, another form of divination, involved interpreting patterns made by tossing a handful of dirt or sand onto the ground. Each pattern was believed to hold hidden meanings and could be read like a map, guiding one through the complexities of life's path. Wasserziehen, the tradition of drawing water from a well, fit neatly into this context of seeking future insights. Families would gather around the well, and each member would draw a bucket of water. The order in which they drew, it was believed, could reveal the fortunes awaiting them in the new year. Thus, Wasserziehen was more than just a tradition. It was a part of a broader tapestry of medieval beliefs in the power of divination practices to illuminate the path forward. As the night deepened and the new year approached, these beliefs offered comfort and guidance, weaving families into a cosmic web of interconnected destinies. And so, the tradition continued, passed down through generations, anchored in the shared hope that the future held promise and that families were not alone in their journey. As the medieval year drew to a close, it was not just the turning of the calendar that held significance for families. Health beliefs during this time were deeply intertwined with rituals and superstitions that offered hope for the future. Among these was a fascinating tradition known as Wasserziehen. Central to this practice was the idea that water could reveal insights about one's health and well-being in the coming year. Medieval medical beliefs were rooted in the humoral theory, which posited that the body was composed of 4 fluids, or humors: blood, yellow bile, black bile, and phlegm. These humors needed to be balanced for good health, and water was believed to have the power to purify and restore this balance. In addition to Wasserziehen, there were other water-related rituals practiced for healing and purification, such as the use of holy water in churches. These practices underscored the deep connection between health beliefs and the natural world, with water playing a pivotal role in maintaining balance and harmony. For families, Wasserziehen was more than just a prediction. It offered a sense of control and hope during a time when medical knowledge was limited. The clearer the water, the brighter the future was believed to be for that individual. In this simple yet profound ritual, families found comfort and reassurance, knowing they were not alone in their journey into the new year. The color, clarity, and even bubbles in the water were closely examined for any signs or portents. In some regions, clear water was seen as a favorable omen, indicating a year of good health and prosperity. Conversely, cloudy or turbid water was interpreted as a warning of potential challenges ahead. Families would gather around the well, eagerly awaiting their turn to draw the water and share their interpretations. There was also regional lore surrounding the bubbles in the drawn water. In some places, it was believed that each bubble represented an ancestor who had come to visit, bringing their wisdom and guidance for the new year. The interpretations of Wasserziehen results were deeply rooted in local traditions and superstitions, passed down through generations. These beliefs provided a sense of connection to the past and hope for the future. As the calendar turned over to a new year, the Wasserziehen ritual offered more than just a prediction. It was a moment of collective reflection and anticipation. The interpretation of water quality, color, and clarity provided families with an opportunity to discuss their hopes and fears for the coming year, creating a strong bond among community members. This ritual also served as a reminder of the cyclical nature of life and the importance of being prepared for whatever the new year might bring. With each draw of water, families sought guidance from their ancestors and wisdom from generations past, ensuring that they were well equipped to face whatever challenges or triumphs lay ahead. In the quiet moments around the well, as families shared their interpretations and hopes for the future, a sense of unity and resilience emerged that carried them through the year. And so, amidst the celebrations and rituals of New Year's Eve, the Wasserziehen offered a profound connection to the past and a hopeful glimpse into the future. As the first light of the new year dawned, families carried with them the wisdom and guidance drawn from the well, ready to face whatever challenges or triumphs the coming year might hold. The belief was that the first water drawn on New Year's Day held special properties. People believed it could predict their fortunes for the coming year. This ritual tied into broader seasonal health practices and beliefs that permeated medieval life. For instance, many communities also practiced cleansing rituals around the new year. These cleansings were seen as a way to purge any lingering negative energy or ill fortune from the previous year. Medieval people also placed great importance on preventative measures to ensure good health throughout the year. For example, they would often drink special herbal teas or use sacred oils during these rituals to ward off illness and misfortune. These practices were not just about physical health, but also about maintaining harmony with the natural world around them. The Wasserziehen ritual was seen as a key part of this holistic approach to health and well-being. As families carried the first water from the well into their homes, they were carrying not just liquid, but also hope for a prosperous and healthy new year. This ancient tradition served as a tangible connection to their beliefs in the cyclical nature of life and the importance of seasonal renewal. The medieval tradition of Wasserziehen, or water drawing, holds a special place in European folklore and customs. This ancient ritual was not merely an annual event, but also found its way into the literary heritage of the time. Poetry, in particular, often depicted and referenced this symbolic act, imbuing it with cultural significance and mystique. In a poem from medieval England, the drawing of water is described as a sacred duty that brings good fortune to the household for the upcoming year. The verse goes, "As we draw the water pure and clear, may our home be blessed with peace throughout the year." This poetic invocation underscores the belief in Wasserziehen's power to influence the coming year's events, reflecting the medieval mindset of seasonal renewal and divine favor. As she approaches the well, she notices a shining object at the bottom. With great care, she retrieves it, revealing a beautiful silver ring. The maiden wears the ring and soon after meets her future husband, who recognizes the ring as his lost family heirloom. This story beautifully illustrates how Wasserziehen is not just a ritual, but also a symbol of hope and connection, linking individuals to their destinies. The presence of such stories in medieval literature highlights the profound cultural significance that Wasserziehen held among families during New Year's Eve celebrations. In the medieval landscape, New Year's Eve was not just a time for revelry and feasting, but also for ancient rituals that offered a glimpse into the future. One such ritual was Wasserziehen, a practice deeply rooted in regional customs and beliefs. In different regions of medieval Europe, the Wasserziehen ritual took on unique interpretations and practices. For example, in the Rhineland, families would gather around a large bowl of water. The eldest member of the family would take the first drink from the bowl, and then each subsequent family member would follow in order of age. This ritual was believed to foretell the health and fortune of each family member for the coming year. In other parts of Europe, such as Bavaria, a different version of Wasserziehen was practiced. Here, families would gather around a large pot filled with heated wine. The head of the family would sprinkle holy water into the pot and make a blessing, after which each family member would take a sip from the pot. This ritual was seen as a way to bless the family and ensure good health for the year ahead. The bread was often decorated with symbols and signs meant to ward off evil spirits and bring good luck to the family. Each member of the family would take a piece of this bread, believing that it would protect them throughout the coming year. These regional variations of Wasserziehen showcase the diversity and richness of medieval European traditions. Despite their differences, each practice shared a common goal: to bring hope, connection, and a sense of security among families as they stepped into the new year. As the old year draws to a close, medieval families gather around the hearth, their eyes fixed on a simple glass of water. This humble vessel holds more than just liquid. It contains interpretations of the future, offering hope and connection during New Year's Eve celebrations. In some regions, the clarity of the water is seen as a reflection of one's inner clarity and purity. Clear water is interpreted to signify a year filled with insight and good decisions. Conversely, cloudy water is thought to predict turbulence and uncertainty in the coming year. The color of the water also holds significance. In many regions, blue or greenish tints are considered auspicious, symbolizing prosperity and growth. However, in other parts of medieval Europe, yellow or reddish hues are viewed as warnings of instability or hardships ahead. Particularly noteworthy is the practice in some regions where the water's viscosity is observed. Thicker, more viscous water might foretell a year of sluggish progress and delayed goals. Through these interpretations, families gain insights into the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. The Wasserziehen ritual thus becomes more than just a tradition. It serves as a guidepost for the year to come. By interpreting the qualities of water, medieval families forge a connection not only to their past, but also to the uncertainties and hopes of the future. As they step into the new year, these interpretations provide a sense of readiness and resilience. In the heart of medieval Europe, amidst fields and pastures, the Wasserziehen ritual held a special place during New Year's Eve celebrations. Families would gather around wells or sacred springs, believing that the first water drawn on January 1st could reveal insights into the coming year's fortunes. This tradition was more than just a festive event. It influenced daily activities and practical decisions, particularly in agriculture. As families looked to the new water, they sought guidance for their crops. Farmers would carefully interpret the clarity and taste of the drawn water. A smooth, refreshing sip signified a promising year ahead, encouraging them to invest in new seeds or riskier crop varieties. Conversely, if the water was murky or bitter, it served as a cautionary note, prompting more conservative choices like sticking with reliable staples. These decisions were not just based on superstition, but often aligned with practical wisdom. For instance, if the water was exceptionally clear, it might signal a year with abundant rainfall, making it safer to experiment with thirstier crops. In communities where resources were scarce, the Wasserziehen ritual helped in strategic planning. If the water was cloudy, indicating a potentially harsh year, families might opt to set aside extra supplies or plan for diversified crops that could withstand various conditions. Beyond individual farms, the ritual also fostered a sense of collective resilience. Neighbors would share their interpretations and pool their insights, leading to community-wide decisions on crop selection and land use. This collective approach ensured that no one farm bore the brunt of a poor decision alone. If the water was particularly encouraging, communities might even consider expanding their cultivated areas or trying new irrigation techniques. The Wasserziehen ritual thus offered more than just a moment of reflection. It became an integral part of practical decision-making, intertwining ancient beliefs with the pragmatic needs of daily life. Across medieval Europe, another water divination technique captivated villagers seeking hope and direction for the new year: the ancient art of dowsing. This practice involved a Y-shaped or L-shaped rod, often made from hazel or willow wood, which was believed to vibrate or shift in response to hidden water sources. The dowser would hold the rod by its shorter end and walk over a suspected water source. If the rod dipped or swung in a certain direction, it was seen as a sign of water beneath the surface. This method, known as dowsing or witching, was used not only to find water but also to locate other hidden resources, such as minerals and even lost objects. It was a practical skill passed down through generations, blending faith with necessity. Similar to the Wasserziehen ritual, dowsing was often performed during significant events like New Year's Eve, when families sought divine guidance for the upcoming year. This made water divination a ritual not just of practicality, but also of spiritual connection and hope. Another technique, known as pegging, involved driving a peg or rod into the ground at various locations to detect water sources. The belief was that the rod would vibrate or indicate resistance if struck by an underground water vein. These methods, rooted in ancient folklore and belief systems, underscore the medieval fascination with water's divinatory power. Water was not merely a resource, but also a source of spiritual guidance, making these rituals integral to communal life. These rituals were not mere superstitions, but deeply ingrained practices that blended the spiritual with the practical, providing a sense of unity and purpose as families looked forward to the new year. The symbolism behind these divining rods was profound. They were seen as a connection between the earth, water, and the divine realm. The rods were usually made of hazelwood, a tree associated with wisdom and prophecy in Celtic mythology. Water, as an element, was regarded as sacred and life-giving. It represented the subconscious mind and the collective unconscious, according to medieval beliefs. By using rods to draw water from a well or stream, people believed they could tap into these deeper realms of knowledge. The act of divination itself was considered an art that required both skill and divine guidance. Those who practiced it were often revered within their communities, as they were thought to have a special connection to the spiritual world. As the night progressed and the flames died down, they would use divining rods to seek answers about the year ahead. The anticipation and hope that filled these gatherings were palpable. The belief was that the rods, guided by divine forces, would twitch or turn to indicate positive outcomes or warnings of difficulties to come. This ritual served not only as a means of divination, but also as a way to bring families closer. It provided an opportunity for collective reflection and shared anticipation about the year to come, fostering a sense of unity and purpose. As the new year began, the hope and connection created by these rituals carried over into daily life. The divining rods were seen as a tangible link between the mundane world and the divine realm, offering a sense of security and guidance for the future. Understanding these rituals deepens our appreciation for how medieval people interpreted divinatory tools. They saw them not as mere superstitions, but as profound symbols of connection and hope. The belief behind Wasserziehen was deeply rooted in divine communication. Medieval families believed that the properties of the water drawn could be influenced by saints and spirits, providing a glimpse into the future. This ritual was seen as a sacred way to seek guidance from higher powers. Historical accounts abound of successful predictions made through Wasserziehen, which were often attributed to divine intervention. Families would eagerly await the first droplets of water, hoping that they would bring forth a message from the divine realm. The water's clarity, color, and even the pattern of ice crystals formed within it were believed to hold significant meanings. A clear water foretold a year of good health and fortune, while cloudy or discolored water was seen as an omen of troubles ahead. Interestingly, the shape and size of ice crystals were also interpreted with spiritual significance. Intricate patterns in the ice were thought to symbolize the blessings or warnings from divine entities. This made every droplet drawn a moment of anticipation and reverence. The spiritual significance of Wasserziehen was not just about predicting the future, it was also about feeling connected to something greater. It offered a sense of control in an otherwise unpredictable world, making each New Year's Eve a ritual of hope and divine connection. By drawing water from a sacred source at midnight, families believed they were tapping into a direct line of communication with the divine. This belief was rooted in the ancient notion that water itself was a carrier of spiritual messages and blessings. Through these rituals, medieval families felt they could navigate the challenges and blessings of the new year with greater wisdom and foresight. The divine communication was not merely seen, it was deeply believed in and relied upon as a beacon of hope amidst life's uncertainties. As the new year approached, families would gather around wells or springs, their eyes fixed on the bucket descending into the water. The anticipation was palpable, each drop of water echoing with the promise of divine revelations. In that moment of drawing water, there was a sense of unity and shared purpose. It was as if the entire family was participating in a grand ritual, each member contributing to the collective hope for a brighter future. The water drawn at midnight was seen not just as a prediction tool, but as a sacred offering that connected the family with divine entities. This connection brought a sense of peace and assurance, making each New Year's Eve a profoundly spiritual experience. And as the first light of dawn broke through the darkness, families would reflect on the divine messages they received and carry them forward with renewed hope and resilience into the new year. People believed that the water drawn from these sacred wells held messages from the divine. Every droplet, every ripple was a potential omen or sign. A crystal clear water surface was seen as a sign of good fortune and purity. It was believed to bring prosperity and health for the coming year. In contrast, cloudy or turbulent water was often interpreted as a warning of difficulties ahead. Families would prepare themselves for potential challenges and hardships. The stillness of the water could also signify stagnation or lack of progress. It was a caution to take action, to stir things up and move forward. Ripples or small waves were considered auspicious, indicating life's natural ebbs and flows. It was a sign of harmony and balance in the year to come. The depth from which the water was drawn also carried significance. Shallow water might indicate superficiality, while deep water could symbolize profound wisdom or hidden treasures. Some families believed that if the water level was low in the well, it meant the year would be one of scarcity and they should prepare accordingly. Yet, others saw a low water level as an opportunity for growth and resilience. They took it as a sign to dig deeper, to seek out hidden resources and strength. As the sun rose higher in the sky, families would reflect on these divine messages, drawing hope and resilience from their interpretations of the Wasserziehen ritual. For them, every droplet told a story and each ripple held a promise. It was a profound way to start the new year, with divine guidance and communal hope. As another year began under the watchful eyes of heaven, medieval people believed they were not alone in their journey, but guided and protected by divine messages carried within every drop of water,